2020 Ford Transit Connect with a hard steering. It barely moves, so let's get to it. As I mentioned, I received a call to come take a look at this Ford Transit Connect that has a buyer that just left the scene. Actually, I don't know if he left the scene because of this or not, but the car, he said, the owner of the lot said the issue was intermittent, and sometimes when it warm up, the steering wheel works fine. So I don't know how accurate is this, but so first thing that I did is I scanned it. Let me show you guys. I scanned the vehicle and we have a bunch of U codes. The car had an accident on this side, this door right here. So you see the signs of I know, good work. So yeah, we have a bunch of U codes I'm not worried about, but my concern is here. Power steering control module. We have 4 codes: C200B. Well, 200B is 2 of them, but 2F and 62 is steering shaft torque sensor 1, steering shaft torque sensor 2, and then C200C 2F48 steering shaft torque sensor 2, and then we have a U3096-C8 control module. Those are the codes. I don't think it's gonna be a fuse. The reason why, we do have the powertrain control module right here. If it was a fuse or ground, we would have a no response, like there's no power to it, so it's not working. But since we have an input for it, and unfortunately, Autel, I don't have any live data for the Ford Transit Connect, and I don't think it's a 2020 issue. This is most updated. I think it's with the Transit, because I've had this with the, I think it was a 16 or 17 also Transit. I didn't have no live data. It would be really useful. I want to go and pull the snap-on, see if we have a live data, but I figured to pull up the wiring diagram to see what we're dealing with. So right now we're on all data, and when we go to DTC's C chart, we go 200. We don't have any entry for it. Let me show you guys. We don't have any entry for 200. So none of these codes is going to pop. I even tried here, like C200B right here, see it? Nothing showing up in the history. I did U3000, also nothing. I went to Identifix and I did U3000, sorry, search, nothing, no results. Let's do the P200B right here, no results. How about the C for sensor 2? No results. Okay, so we have to improvise. We have to do what we have to do here. Taking a look at the wiring diagram for the power steering control module. Power steering control module, PSCM, is located on steering rack assembly. So it's a part of the rack and pinion. We should have 1, 2, 3 connectors, 2 pins, 1 pin, and 1, 2, 3 pins here. We have 2 sources of power, come from 2 fuses. Fuse number 2, which is a 80 amp, a big fuse, and that is going to be too big. These wires going to be too, like, thick gauge, like this one. And fuse 65 5 amp, I have to be power also on this connector. Let's go under the hood and let me show you guys the the fuse box and the stupid design of Ford. Right, this is the fuse box right here, sitting next to the battery, and you have to, you know, pull this to lift the cover off. Now when you lift it, you're not going to see any fuses. You see the sign of fuse here, and the reason why, because the fuses are on the other side. So make sure your car is not running when you do this. The reason why, because when you push these, hopefully I can do it with one hand. You see, you push these towards you, these two tabs towards you, and then it will pop. Again, make sure the car is not running when you do this. And we're trying to flip it to see the fuses, and we don't see any fuses. There's another cover. So right here, this cover should pop out. I might need two hands for this one. Okay, so right here, this tab also, you pull it towards you and then you lift up, and that cover will come off. Now, as we said, we're dealing with two fuses. This fuse number 2, 80 amp, and fuse 65, 5 amp. So with a test light connected to ground, which is right there, this you can do at home. You don't have to take it to a mechanic or a dealer. All I'm using is a $5, $10, whatever brand you get test light. So you check your test light if it's working or not, and it is working. This fuse right there, see it? First you touch here, and then you touch here. We have, and it doesn't hurt to check the other ones. This one is empty, and if you have this fuse blown, you can change the whole thing. But as a quick fix, what you can do, you can unscrew this, switch it to this one, because this one is 80, you see it? Or this one also, both of them are 80 amp fuses. So just make sure that they are good, and then switch this one here temporarily. If it is your car and you know what you're doing, you don't have to change the fuse box, the big fuses. Now the other fuse, which is 65 is located right here. 65 5 amp, which is this one right here. So I don't have power, I cannot, because this fuse box, you see this piece right here, you see this connects to that part right there, and this is what provides power to the fuse box. So I cannot check it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull it out and take a look at it, or test it with an ohm meter. And the way I tested it, this is how I tested it. Hopefully I can do it with one hand. This cover, look. So I am going to touch, of course it's easier with two hands, but I'm going to touch my test light to one leg and the other leg to the battery, positive. And if I do have a light, that means the fuse is good. This is how I tested it. So it is good. I am going to put it back in its place next to that 20. Okay, and if you guys don't have a good, it's right here, this one, the 5 one, the brown one, yellow, brown, this one, not the top one. So those two fuses are good. Now we have to either jack up the car, put a jack stands, or bring it up on rams, and we're going to go under the vehicle. Before we go down there, we have to look here. This one says hot at all times, so this yellow and red thick wire is going to be hot at all time. This one says hot with run start relay energized, so we either have to somebody crank it or we just leave it running. We're going to leave it running in this case. Just make sure you tell people around you that you are under the vehicle, and don't touch nothing. Definitely do not let anybody sit behind the steering wheel. I wanted to come before starting the vehicle to take a look at the location of the harnesses. What I did, I removed that cover with some star screws, 5 of them, and it was really hard for me to find the connectors because look where they live. They live right there, and I'm all the way to the back here by this K-frame. So right here, 1, 2, and that's the big one with the 2 thick gauges. You remember? It's going to be hard, especially with the car running with the exhaust next to me right here. I don't know where I'm going to put my hand to test those wires, but what I know is we have to remove that shield, a protective shield, which is right here, this one. This is the wiring. So here there's, I think, 10mm bolt here. Hold it right here, and there is one down there. All right, a lot of update. You see those this harness that I unplugged, the top one, the first one right there, the first one is good. The second one, this is just to transfer data between this piece and the other piece right there of the rack and pinion, and the other end of it is right here. You see it? That one right there. All right, for the torque sensor. So this big one right there, we have to check to see powers and grounds. This one, the one that I unplugged, we're going to check those 3 wires. And if you ask where's the last one, I think the last one is right there. You see it? That's the ground for the rack and pinion. And this is a 3rd bolt. You remember where I said when you move this there's 2 bolts? No, this is a 3rd bolt, and then I was gonna take it out, but then I figured no, let me leave it. And so if you have this issue, do not touch that bolt before you check if your rack and pinion body has a ground in it, because that could be loose, and if that's loose, yes, it's going to cause this problem. But unfortunately with me, I unscrew it halfway, and then I took another look at the diagram, and I decided to screw it back in. I could actually plug this one and go start the vehicle, see if that's gonna make any change. Actually, let me do this. Well, let's start it. No, we still have a hard steering. Steering assist, full service required. The first one I'm probed on, you see that blue? That's my testing. The yellow and red, and it does have 12 volts. Now I am on the black one, the black thick one, and I do have a ground. Now I'm going to check that body of that rack and pinion, see if it has a ground, and it does have a ground. But actually there is a better way to check that with the test light. So what I'm doing, I'm touching the test light to the body of that rack and pinion, and I'm hooking it up to my power probe. If I provide 12 volt to this tip, this light should lit right here. So that means that ground is enough to carry current. Disconnected that top harness, and it has 3 wires, white and red. I don't know if you guys see it, white and red, and the other 2 colors. I am probed on the white and red, which should be power when the car starts. So let's pull this out and go start it. Started the vehicle, and that green should turn to red. Yes, it is. Battery voltage, which is it is this one right here, the white and orange, actually, this one. So which comes from that fuse 65 that we checked. So the last 2 to check are these, and unfortunately this is the only thing that you cannot do at home. You can, but you need an advanced scanner that has an oscilloscope. I am going to check for high speed can, plus and minus activity on those two. They are the other two wires on that connector. Alright, this is the first one, the one in the middle. Let me switch to the other one. And this is the second one. Let me pause and zoom out and analyze it. So something I don't like. This should be 1.5 to 2.5. It's not. And the other one should be 2.5 to 3.5. I am going to put both of them at the same time on the screen. How it got corrected, and it was my ground. My ground was not good. I'll show you guys. Look, I'm about to move the ground. See it? I moved the ground, and it dropped. Right now, both of them are on the screen, and this is what we should get. Let me zoom out. This is a clean, nice waveform. And if you come here, you read. You see it? 1.5, 1.48, and then 2.5. And then 3.5. So that being said, unfortunately this car needs a rack and pinion. The owner thought that he could solve the problem by a fuse, electric, something, wire, but no, this needs a rack and pinion. So I am going to provide you guys with an update, but most probably it's going to be written. Going to be in a text form, not a video, but for now, thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, do something, hit that little notification, that little bell for more videos like this. I really appreciate your time. Here's a bonus footage. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't wrong about this connector, C1463C. So when I come here, I put on a search, I get some results. When I click on it, I see that it looks like this, which is a terminal. It says ground, shock tower, left. That's the other end of it. But here it says power steering control module. So I was right about this connector. It's not a connector, it is that ground on the bolt. Thank you guys for watching.